The Skoolie community is so great about giving advice and recommendations.
I didn't think there'd be enough room, but it's like amazing.
It can be a wine bar, it can be a coffee bar, or a little bit of everything.
But it was fun doing that, adjusting and evolving. Hi, my name's A.W. This is my wife, Shirley, and this is our beautiful home, Miss Daisy.
Welcome to Miss Daisy. This is our living room / kitchen, and we've tried to leave as much open space in here as we could. We have a 30-foot bus, Thomas Freightliner, and we have actually a couch that turns into a twin-size bed, and we have tons of storage underneath here. And we have a small refrigerator, a classic. It's retro, but I love the color. That was one of my first purchases. Built the kitchen around it and kind of went with that color scheme. This holds a ton. We have a freezer down on the bottom, and there's just the two of us. So we've packed for a whole week and we are good to go. And we can pick up a few things here and there if we need to. But I didn't plan on doing a lot of cooking. I don't have a stove or an oven, just the microwave. We do Instapot, we do air fryer. Of course, I have to have a coffee maker. Plus we cook outside. So we are pretty much set. We don't have a generator, so everything had to be run by our solar. We have 1,600 watts of solar panels, and so far so good. We have a mini split that services the whole bus, and you'll see our solar panels here. We have 4 lithium batteries, battle-borne batteries that have been awesome. Food pantry up here and batteries, trash can, storage, everything down here. We also have a microwave in here. Everything in here is basically repurposed. We used Habitat for Humanity, yard sales, estate sales to find a lot of our items, a lot of the old wood that we used in the bus. And I don't like things going to waste, so I like to repurpose, give it a new life. And it just kind of went with our theme and how we were decorating everything. I used a lot of copper with the accents to give it a homey feel. We are in the kitchen. We went with, it's basically a 80-inch piece of pine that we went with for the countertop. And these are basically stock cabinets that we purchased and kind of lined them and everything. We wanted to keep as much storage down here so I can put my Instapot, my air fryer and everything and the coffee maker out of the way when we're traveling. But this length of cabinet or countertop has come in really handy. I mean, we use it for everything. It can be a desk when I need it, if I'm doing any work with my computer, or we use the Berkey filter, which has turned out really great. That we even use that at home when we're not traveling. To give us a little bit more space and storage, we went with a nice shelf up above and the rail for coffee cups and little knickknacks to hang and signs and everything. And plus we can also use that at nighttime. If we want to block off this window, we can put up something to block the light and everything to give us a little bit more privacy. So that's worked out really well. Well, the tiles, and you'll see I have these same tiles in the entranceway coming up the steps to the bus. But I fell in love with those tiles and I'm like, I have to figure out a way to use those. So I researched it, and the Skoolie community is so great about giving advice and recommendations. And so I found out that there's a more flexible mortar mix you can use and flexible grout. So that's what I've used, and it's on a 3 1/4 inch piece of plywood with concrete backer board. And then I use the flexible mortar and grout, and it's been there for 1.5 years and haven't had any issues with it, either tile. And we've also tiled the bathroom floor, so it turned out great. This was a find somewhere a long time ago, and it just kind of works out great. I can when we're traveling, I just throw this under the cabinet here, but it's got the dish soap in here, my little cooking utensils, tongs, a pin, my cool copper little spoons for salads. So it's just kind of a catch-all, but that kind of goes with the whole theme and just fits right in. Well, long story short, I've wanted to do this for a long time, and I looked for 2 years for a bus. and we couldn't really find one we liked or agreed upon. He looked for an hour and found this one. And so guess what? We got this one. But this is the perfect size we were looking for. We got really lucky. It's a Mercedes diesel engine. No rust. It was in really good condition, an hour from our home, and the guy delivered it for us, so that was even a plus. And I really like the length of this because I've driven it, but I don't think I'd be comfortable driving anything much bigger than this.
And also getting the bus, we got it from Alabama, or the guy had got it from Alabama. So it wasn't exposed to salt and all the harshness of any of the buses that you would get up north that had to do with snow and everything. So we thought that was a plus by getting a southern bus.
I'm a huge HGTV junkie, and I just love design and traveling. And honestly, my biggest regret is not doing this sooner.
Yes.
I wish we would have done this when we were younger, when my kids were younger, and I love this lifestyle just so we can get out and see this country and travel and enjoy life. We're both retired now, so that was the plan, to just sell our house and travel, but we have new grandbabies now, new grandchildren, so we're staying close to home a little bit. We are taking many long trips, and we just love it. And so we had looked at RVs for a long time and just really didn't like the style. They're very expensive. So we said we can do this. We started looking for a bus, found it, and just got to work.
And by building it ourselves, if something goes wrong, hey, we can fix it. We don't have to take it to somewhere and have them fix it like if you would have an RV and supply chain issues and everything else that, well, we can fix it ourselves. We build it. So, and that's great. And we were up north at Niagara Falls, and we stayed up there for a month, and that was absolutely wonderful, living off grid, just enjoying life. Right now I'm standing in our shower. Very spacious shower, I love it. I do have to say that I can't take a credit for a lot of this because my wife, she was the designer. She just said, this is what I want, let's figure out how we can do it. So we did it. She found this really nice, I guess it's a sink, but I don't know what, she found it at a yard sale, and she said, hey, we can make that into a sink. So just drill a hole in there, and so we made it into a sink. And we needed a compartment to put our toothbrush and everything. So she made this little compartment, and that holds it in there to keep it from moving. And she actually did the tile work on here. The name of the bus is Miss Daisy. So she wanted to incorporate daisies into our tile. So she did each one of those, little bit by little bit. And she really had it outside. She said, now I want to put that in here. So we did that, and so it worked out great. There's no leaks or anything. She did use all copper around, and we didn't want to actually enclose the copper because we go up north and it freezes and you're having water in there, and if there's a water leak, bus, then I don't have to go and rip out the walls to find the leak. So this is absolutely perfect. We love the shower head. It's just enough. If this is a retractable door, which I do recommend, because we were going to have a barn door, but this retractable door actually goes all the way across, and it serves a great purpose, and it takes up a very small amount of space. Only thing I would change about this, if we could, is I would like to make this shower into an indoor-outdoor. So this would somehow or another take off and go outside. So I got to figure out how to use the screens to actually make it an outdoor shower. And then when we come from the beach to wash off the sand, that would be absolutely wonderful. It's not really a composting toilet. It's called a separate, so that your urine goes down to a gray water tank, and the other is bagged up in a biodegradable bag. And we were turned on to that because they said that your waste and a biodegradable bag is more environmentally friendly than you at your house. If you have a baby and you're changing diapers all day long, those diapers are not biodegradable. Everything else is not biodegradable. You throw it into a plastic bag and then you throw it into your trash can. So that's not very, very good, but a separate, it's biodegradable. You throw it out in your trash and it is good to go. So when we do, we open this up and we close off our other part of we have an entranceway to go to our sink, to our bathroom, and it closes off our bedroom so that we have privacy, plus the fact that when we have our mini split going, if we need air or we need heat, it just heats or cools this area here without having to waste all the energy to go up front. We're now in our bedroom, and this is my favorite part of our build, because one, well, it took us forever to get it designed, or my wife to get it designed, but I love the L shape. That way I can lay down this way. We do have a handicap door that we can open up, and it's like you're outside. So you're here, you can sit. If you have company, they can sit. But at nighttime, like I said, when we close off this area, this part comes out, and it comes over, and it makes a queen size bed. I keep my clothes, there's a little area right down there, but believe it or not, if you take your clothes and you like roll them up, like roll your pants up, you can get a lot of stuff in it. When I first saw it, I said, that's not going to be enough room for my clothes, hon. She said, well, let's just see. I have room for that and more. I can put my shoes in there. It's great. I didn't think there'd be enough room, but it's like amazing. But this is our mini split, which I totally say you must have. Is air and heat, takes up very little electrical. And if you do need heat at night, since we have solar, we use an electric blanket. That way it doesn't draw all of it, but an electric blanket takes up very little electricity, and it keeps my wife warm. It makes me too warm. I have to get out from under the covers. And even when it's like 30 degrees out, I have to get out from underneath it, because that electric blanket makes. But then we turn this on and actually just flip it on. It comes on, and we'll now cool it down to 63 or 64, 65, whatever we want to keep the temperature at, and it worked great. Another one of my wife's fabulous ideas, she came up here, and these are just coffee bean bags. Coffee bean bags, and she put a little bit of insulation inside, you roll it up, and this is just actually a belt. So we have a belt, comes up here, clips on, and it gives us privacy at night. And if it does get a little warm, you just put that down, and that keeps the sun from coming in here. It's one of her ingenious ideas again. Even this part right here, a friend of ours was throwing away a baby crib, and she said, oh, I can use that for the wood. So she took the wood, made this for our cat. Didn't cost anything. So just the savings that she did in here so that we could do this, live out our dream, is amazing. That was one of the hardest things we had to do. The ceiling, because the curvature of a bus, to get that curve and get the wood to bend, we had to use it's like 2-inch tongue and groove board that we could slip in. And I do say, if you want to do something like this, do not skimp on insulation. That's where you will lose all your heat or your cooling or whatever, but don't skip on the insulation, because if you skip on the insulation, all this cool air, if you could sit here and feel it, this is super cold, all this would just be going out the window. So don't skip on the inside. Now the bottom is fine. You don't lose a lot of heat or cooling on the bottom. It's the roof and the sides. So there we have Havlik wool that we used, and we have shoved it in there, and it works perfectly. And like I said, this 2-inch tongue and groove, it followed the curvature of the bus really great. So that way we have a beautiful ceiling. I'm a banker, and she is a hotel general manager, so we had really very little knowledge on how to build things, but YouTube is your best friend, man. You can find anything you want to on there, how to build anything or do anything. And it took us around 14 months from start to finish, and we didn't work on it every day, because we didn't want to get burnt out and then it just sit there and nothing happened with it. So we just did a little bit at a time. So we don't feel like working on it today, it might be too cold or something. So we said, well, this is what we're going to do in the future, so let's go and let's research it. So 9% of it is research, and then just getting out and have fun doing it. Don't make it into a job. It's like, because our plans changed. How many times your design?
A million.
A million times that we're going to do it this way. Well, no, let's do it this way. No, let's do it this way. So, but it was fun doing that, adjusting and evolving and watching it evolve, and now enjoying the fruits of our labor. And we love it.
And I have to say, because I was still working for 6 months when we first bought the bus, and my husband was in here doing the demo and taking out mountains of wiring, and I just have to give him props for doing that, because I don't know that I could have done that. But when he was doing it, I kept saying, I'm on the decorating committee. Let me know when you're done.
Yeah. But, and I couldn't have did the decorating part. There was no way I had this vision. I just had a vision of a school bus, and I just didn't have a vision of it. And now it's like, OMG, did a great job, hon. I mean,
I can't foresee us ever getting rid of Miss Daisy. Even if we are not traveling anymore, we'll keep it and use it for extra space at our home, and maybe Airbnb it, who knows. But I'm sure when our granddaughters get a little bit bigger, they're gonna say, ooh.
We got some cool grandparents, man.
Cool grandparents.
And they're gonna love traveling with us and just enjoying life, and not just,
exactly. We can't wait to bring them to a Skoolie Swarm.
Yes.
When we first purchased the bus, of course, it was a school bus. It was bright yellow, had been sitting around, I guess, for a long time. And we live in a subdivision with pretty close neighbors. So instead of tackling the inside on the very beginning of our build, we decided to make the outside pretty. So we got busy and sanded for weeks, it seems like. And then it was time to decide on a color scheme. So my husband's favorite color is purple, and mine is pink. So we kind of went with a mixture, and I have a thing about color. So I probably got 6 samples of paint and put it all on the sides of the bus, and all of our friends came over and they picked their favorite, and then we ended up actually mixing all the colors together to get the color it is now. It's Miss Daisy. It's a Home Depot product, outside enamel, and they have it saved in their computers for us if we ever need to get a new supply of it. And then I wanted to do something else a little bit different, so I did stencils with the same kind of paint, but just various different colors to go with the theme of the bus, and it just kind of evolved, and it's very unique, and I'm very happy with how it turned out. We love being outside and the fresh air and nature and everything, so we knew we'd be doing a lot of things outside and wanted a little extra space. So this was pretty easy build. We kind of researched it and just came up with a size of what we wanted, and this folds up when we travel. These come off, and then we just wire tie it, and now I can use it for my plants. Can be a wine bar, can be a coffee bar, or a little bit of everything. So it's just another extension of Miss Daisy.
One of the most important things I think you do need to do on a bus is you need to have screens because of bugs. I hate taking a nap or sleeping at night and you hear the buzz of the mosquito. So I said, gotta have screens. And a lot of people, they do have their screens on the inside, so they have to take their screens out just to lower the windows up and down. So these screens you can buy at Home Depot, cut them to size, and we use the same screws that are in the bus for these little clips that hold our screens in, and it works perfectly. One thing I do recommend is when you do the screens, make sure you do the short side first when you attach the screen. Because if you do the long side first, when you attach the short side, it ends up being like an hourglass. Well, this is our deck. This is a must-have because we see a lot of people with their outside unit of their mini split like hooked on the side or underneath. Well, we wanted it right here on the deck. Plus it gives us room for our electric bikes, which fold up and they fit neatly right here. With some of my wife's shows that she does, we do have tubs, and the tubs fit nicely on here. Just bungee them down or strap them down, so it works out great. It doesn't cover up our lights or anything, so that's absolutely wonderful. So we do have a thing called Living Our Dash. If you never saw Living Our Dash, you do need to see that poem on Google. Just Google it. It's a great poem. Up on top, we do have our solar. I have 1,600 watts, 4 panels, 400 watts each, and it will run everything. Like I said, our hot water, our mini split, everything we want, everything we want.
Well, another reason that we wanted to do the bus, first I was in the hotel business and for 40 years, and now I don't want to stay in a hotel. I want to travel in my own little bedroom and house. when we travel. But I do antique shows, craft shows, art shows, and I repurpose things. And some bird feeders, succulents, and cute little vintage dishes. I do a lot of things with cork, small pieces of furniture, you name it. If I can find a purpose for it or repurpose for it, I will make it. We do have an Instagram for Miss Daisy. It's Driving Miss Daisy, but it's spelled kind of funny. DRIVINMISDAIZY on Instagram. And I am in the process of reviewing a lot of the products that we've used on the bus to help other people out, saying what worked, what didn't work. So please follow us on Instagram.
Well, like I said before, there's a poem called The Dash. So the dash is basically, we're living our dash. Like on a tombstone, there's a year that you were born and it's year you died. Those are just one day in history. Your life is that dash in the middle. So we are living our dash. And if anybody ever says, you only live once, tell them no. You only die once. You live every day. So live every day to the fullest like we are, and getting ready to get in tears because I love my wife so much. And this has been a great experience. We love people, we love socializing. Come and have wine with us if you see us anywhere, if you're following us anywhere. If we're anywhere around your area, stop in and see us.
We would love that.
We would love that.
We're very friendly.
We are very friendly, and we love meeting people, and the world is our adventure, and come enjoy the adventure with us.
And, you know, we've been through the build, we've been through this, we love helping and giving advice.
Yes.
So, you know, we'll be glad to do that.
Glad to do that.
Love that. And we hope to see you down the road.
See you down the road.